you to everyone. I'm very happy to be here. And in this case, I am very happy to be presenting to you our project titled the PGR Calculator and Economic Feasibility Tool for PGRs for Shrub Maintenance. So the green industry has historically been one of the fastest growing segments in the US economy. And within all of these segments, the services that offer maintenance in landscaping have been one of the largest contributors in sales, employment, and in taxes. But to illustrate this, in the landscape maintenance services has contributed about 1.1 million jobs and about $80 billion in revenue, and it is an impact that is forecasted to grow. Labor is the highest unit expenditure in agriculture, and landscape and maintenance services are no exception. Labor is a crucial variable in maintaining the competitiveness and business climate of the industry. They can have labor costs per account of 60% of all costs, and these maintenance services deliver their work through manual high-intensity work such as pruning, cutting, weeding, etc. As you can see in this graph, the landscape and horticultural services have contributed more than $80 billion to the economy, and it creates a big gap of difference even with the second one in this list. So what is the problem in this big industry lately? Well, they have a high dependency on labor, more than any other segment in the industry. Landscaping services are one of the most labor-dependent services within the entire industry. And as we can see in the graph, no matter the external variables that may exist, the landscaping services are those that have always demanded a high number of employees. Due to the complexity of tasks and occupational safety issues, shrub and tree pruners or cutters are within the highest paid employees in the businesses. This category of employees earns about 25% more than any other trade in the industry. All these labor reasons, coupled with the seasonality of maintenance services in the United States, create a narrow labor market that beats much higher wages, especially in peak months, the spring and summer. So to combat all of this high demand for labor and its eventual shortage, in the United States, there is a visa program called the H-2B visa, which is usually what landscape businesses uses. However, recent changes in political and economical shocks have reduced the number of people accepted into the program. And this is hitting the industry, actually. And well, as the economy recovers and consumer confidence also increases, the labor problem will continue to be critical for landscape maintenance businesses. So in order to combat all of this, our audience, being landscape services, site managers, and crew leaders or team leaders, have constantly looking for technologies to make labor more efficient and to reduce the need of employees while saving on costs. One of the technologies that was introduced to the maintenance kits more recently by business have been the plant growth regulators, or PGRs, that I have been talking about. Specifically, this project evaluates the regulator under the commercial name of Trimtech, with its active ingredient paclobutrazol. And what they do is that it suppresses the growth of shoots and reduces or controls the soil elongation of plants. The use of these is in the response to the need to reduce the number of hours required to pruning while reducing labor costs. The importance of this essential tool is to provide information to understand whether the extra cost investment of using plant growth regulators is justified by the reduction of labor needs. So how do we do this? Well, we've developed a PGR calculator that displays the economic impact of using PGRs for shrub maintenance, subject to product efficacy, wages, and application rate. The tool is a simple Excel file with 3 tabs that includes an introduction with instructions. And this guides the user through every step, making it very easy to follow until it gets into the final result. For this tool, we needed different variables necessary for the economic analysis and the calculations, being the total area, which is the area of the site that the user wants to investigate the effect of the PGRs, time pruning, which is the time in a single pruning event, the pruning events, which are the number of pruning events in a year, hourly wages, that is the typical wage that someone would pay to their workers, the shrub species, which is just the common name of the shrub, and the applications rates, and the ready-to-use solution coverage, which is the area covered by 1 gallon of trimtech solution, and the number of applications of PGRs in a year. So the tool consists of 3 sections. The first section is the site information. And the site information section guides the user through a series of questions to input key variables associated with calculating the impact of PGRs that we already talked about. And in this section is also where the user enters the information about the site where they want to make maintenance in. And they will find these blue cells that indicate that the person can make changes to it. The second section provides the calculation obtained from inputting data into section 1. The tool provides the following calculations: annual number of pruning hours, trimtech volume, and at the same time, we can see that the cells are yellow and they're self-generated. Tool analysis include cost breakdown, labor costs, labor hours, and cost savings. In addition, the analysis uses a sensitivity approach to help users understand how PGR's efficacy influences labor and maintenance costs. So one of these analyses is the cost breakdown. The cost breakdown analysis illustrates the 2 main costs in the tool: labor costs without PGRs and cost of agrochemicals, that are the trimtech and surfactant. And it helps the user to see the differences of the cost in a very graphic way. The analysis uses a sensitivity approach when we talk about labor costs. And as you can see in the next table, it was studied that PGRs, trimtech, and under the commercial name, can reduce the number of pruning events and time per pruning up to 90%, depending on the species treated and location. So we define PGR efficacy by the percentage reduction of both pruning events and time per pruning event. So to display the efficacy of the PGRs, this figure illustrates how labor cost decreases the number of pruning events and reduces up to 90% in the x-axis, and the time per pruning event decreases up to 90% in the y-axis. In other words, labor costs reduce as the efficacy of the PGR increases. So we will try to follow this logic in these other 2 sensitivity analysis tables that you're going to see. Similar to the last figure, labor hours can be impacted on the reduction of pruning events and time per pruning event. For example, in the case of the study of the next figure, you can see that at 0% of efficacy, you will find that we will require 300 hours of pruning labor. And in the other hand, 50% efficacy will decrease labor pruning hours to just 75. The importance of reducing the number of labor hours lies in the reallocation of labor into other possibly profitable activities. Lastly, this figure illustrates how PGRs can impact cost savings. This table displays the dollar savings per year as the efficacy of PGRs increases. Cost savings was calculated based on the reduction of labor costs and additional costs of agrochemicals. So what we wanted to do with all of this? Well, the main intention of the calculator is to help our audience to understand if the extra cost of using PGRs is justified by the reduction of labor needs. This tool will be important to help them understand how PGRs is a way to increase their productivity. PGR applications can be an economical, feasible tool to effectively reduce the frequency of pruning landscape shrubs, which in turn can reduce the number of employees sent into a job visit, reallocate labor, spread out activity, and especially during high labor demand, meaning spring and summer, and increase business profitability overall. So to deliver information, we're about to publish 3 extension articles through the extension program of Purdue University. And these extension articles are going to illustrate the economics of PGRs in the landscape industry. The first article investigates the labor and dollar savings of applying PGRs in 3 crops located in 3 states. It's important to mention there are going to be 3 different states because of the agroclimatic regions and how they affect also. The second one is the results from a sensitivity analysis to illustrate how hourly wages impact labor costs and dollar savings for these experiments. And the third one is going to be about this PGR calculator that I'm talking to you right now. So we have been, and we will be actively participating in extension presentations, congresses, like the Green Expo, the Indiana Hort Congress, the Indiana Professional Law and Landscape Association Congress, and the Turf and Landscape Seminar that usually Purdue holds. At the same time, Purdue Horticulture Business has a web page, and the calculator will be one of the resources of the web page. And we will actively invite interested people through the congresses and seminars that we will assist to use this tool and to visit our page. Finally, to measure our success, we plan to work closely with landscape associations and businesses. Rainbow Tree Scientific Advancements was the one that provided foundings to this project from the beginning. And we're looking forward to work with them to spread out this tool in their business context. As well, we want to work with landscape associations and, well, try to spread this tool to make us understand, to make us help understand how PGRs can help. We also plan to measure the number of visits to the resource in the webpage, especially after every congress or meeting that we're going to talk about this tool. And finally, we plan to have a survey for the user in order to look for active feedback in the enterprise on the webpage, and to also learn how this tool impacted their decisions to adopt or to not adopt plant growth regulators in their daily toolkit for their maintenances. Thank you very much for your attention.